Hello, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We're kicking off a holiday season of 2021. This is Tony Shoup with Audit the Vote PA and my incredible partner, Karen Taylor. I am always late. Just saw the chat. She's always late. I know. I am far from perfect, and that is one thing that the better you know me, you know that I'm almost always, although I'm getting better, getting a lot better, thanks to my husband, who is always on time. So
you just have to have a fashionable entrance. That's all.
What's that?
You just have a fashionable entrance.
You have to admit, I have been getting better lately. I've been on time more often than not lately.
Yeah.
When it comes to other things we're doing, maybe not so much in the online world, but when other meetings that we're having, I've been getting better. We wanted to hop on because, as most of you that follow us know, we were supposed to have Greg Stenstrom on tonight for an interview. He is the plaintiff along with Leah Hoopes, who have filed a lawsuit in Delaware County. They actually, I believe, have a couple of lawsuits now going. One is from the original November 3rd, 2020 election, because they saw some crazy stuff go on in their county, and they were brave enough to stand up and talk about it publicly at the Gettysburg hearing around this time last year. As a result, the county actually ended up suing them for, it's called a SLAPP suit, although I don't understand it well enough to articulate it. Karen, do you know what that stands for, a SLAPP suit?
I can't really be able to.
You've heard the term before, right?
Yes.
It's basically when the government sues the citizens for the court costs that they've incurred because you accused them of doing something wrong and took them to court, and they don't like it. It's essentially an intimidation tactic that they use in the courts. I don't understand how in the world it's legal, but apparently it is. It does happen more often than we would like, and that is what happened with Greg and Leah on their first round of lawsuits. I was interested in finding out from Greg kind of how November 18th went, because November 18th was their appearance, I believe, where they were supposed to enter their evidence. I've heard it's gone well, but I probably could find the details myself, which we'll have to do and give you guys an update, because Greg and Leah have been advised by counsel not to do any interviews yet, which I totally understand. They definitely need to listen to their lawyers on that if that's what's best for the case, which is what's best for the people, because their case is essentially protecting our vote. I'm totally okay with that. They have since filed, which many of you saw in our last video, we showed the Delco video of a whistleblower who last spring, after a right to know request was filed in May of 2021, someone caught people destroying election evidence on tape. A whistleblower caught election officials actually destroying physical evidence, which is a federal offense. And if you think about why in the world would they have been destroying evidence if everything was on the up and up? If someone filled out a right to know request and there was nothing to hide, why wouldn't they just want to produce the results? Instead, they were shredding things and clearly tampering with evidence, which is a huge red flag. And so there is, I believe, a second lawsuit now against that, which is what I really wanted Greg to talk about. But again, the time isn't right. We'll get to him when it is. I also wanted to let people know that if they feel led to donate to that cause with absolutely no pressure, or I feel like nowadays, especially around the holidays, we're bombarded constantly with buy this, buy that. I was even put Frank's speech on last night for a little bit to see what was going on, and there was advertisements for My Pillow everywhere, and get this now and buy this now, and it gets exhausting. I get it completely. But if it tugs at your heart and you feel like that's where God is leading you to give even $1, $5, $10, their Give Send Go account is givesendgo.com/protecting your vote. So feel free to do that as well. That was the purpose of tonight. But when Greg canceled so close to the interview, I thought, well, people are expecting us. So let's at least just pop on and say happy Thanksgiving and hi to everybody and let people know that tomorrow, all three of us tomorrow are going to be on Frank's speech at 5 p.m. I don't know what we're going to be talking about or whatever. We don't really see. The cool thing is when you're telling the truth, you don't have to have a script.
Nope.
Just ask us anything you want. We'll tell you what's going on. So that's 5 o'clock tomorrow on Frank's speech. We're excited. Are we with CanCon, Marcus D, both?
We are with both CanCon and Marcus D.
Oh, that's going to be, we have really made some of the coolest friendships, I think, in this journey, haven't we?
Absolutely.
like-minded patriots, and Marcus D and CanCon have become some of our favorites. Frank Speech is Mike Lindell's TV network. Go to frankspeech.com. I think you do have to create a login to sign up. It's free, but you do have to log in. And if you're looking for a news outlet that is reporting conservative truth, not propaganda, that is a good source. Brennan Howes is their news anchor, I guess if you would call it that. And he goes live every day and gives you updates on news of the day. So if you're looking for a good news source, I would liken it to Bannon or Newsmax or OAN, doing the best they can to get the truth out with minimal spin and propaganda. I kind of wonder nowadays if there's spin on everything, because the opinions are so divided nowadays. It's kind of hard not to have your own spin on just about anything, but at least it's minimal spin, and there's no, I don't think, real agenda other than to report the truth of what's going on, of course, from a conservative viewpoint, because that's who they are. But that is that. So the other thing I finally remembered when Karen and I were on here the last time, and I could not remember what I wanted to tell you guys, it was just to let you know that if you want to subscribe to our email list, you can now do that right on the main page of our website. Go to www.auditthevotepa.com. And as soon as you start scrolling down that main page now, it'll pop up your first, last name, and email. If you are not on our email list and you want to subscribe, please do that there. Know that you will not get spammed. We will not be selling any information, giving information. We have had multiple people and organizations reach out to us and ask for our email list and want our contacts, and we just flat out refuse. Even to the point where when we sent the petition to President Trump, they wanted a physical copy of the petition, that we printed out, that you saw the picture of us and him with, which maybe we'll throw that up here, because we're realizing a lot of people don't know that we got to have dinner with him and meet him back in August, which was incredible. We even took the email addresses off of that. We did not print it out. We take that very seriously. So it was only the date, and I believe the first names and the signatures of the people on the petition. So you do not have to worry about Audit the Vote PA selling out your info. And we also don't send out a ton of emails, because our current subscription plan with our website only allows us really to do 2 big email blasts every month. We're limited to a certain amount of emails, and with the number of addresses that we have, we can only do it twice a month. So that's what you can expect from us in terms of communication. That may change moving forward. Of course, we would love to keep more people in the know and get more information out on more of a regular basis, but those servers and whatnot cost more money. So as we grow and kind of figure out things that way, maybe that'll change. But as of right now, you're not going to get constant emails from us. One every couple of weeks is about it. That's what I wanted to say the other night. And of course, I remembered it half an hour after we got off the thing. I was laying on the couch with my husband. I thought, oh, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted, was to let everybody know to put their email in. So yeah, Karen, you want to jump in and share anything with them? I've got a couple more things, and then that was pretty much it.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to talk about as far as money, because I know, it seems nowadays when anybody who's in, I would say, the conservative movement asks for money, people call you grifters. And I will say one thing: we are not funded by the GOP. We are funded completely by donations. So I know that's been a little bit of a rumor that's been going around that the GOP gives us money. That is not true at all. And I will say, I actually am the CFO. Ask Tony, when it comes to money, and I kind of joke because I am Jewish. So a lot of people, say that Jewish people are very frugal with their money. I am very much so. I'm very frugal with our money. I'm very careful on how we spend it, because you guys trust us with the donations, and we want to make sure that we're doing it correctly and we're doing it right by you guys. So please understand, when you are donating to us, we are very careful and very cautious on where we spend that money. We do not spend it frugally at all.
Yep. And so too, on our website, if you went to the signage, now we just recently this week started selling merchandise in terms of signage on our website, first and foremost to get the word out, because censorship is real. It is alive and well. Unfortunately, the First Amendment, freedom of the press and free speech is under assault. I could argue that it's pretty much gone at this point, and we are really fighting to get the word out. So we have car magnets, stickers of our Audit the Vote PA logo, and bumper stickers available on the website for sale. And I want everybody to understand that, yes, we have marked up the signage because we bought it in bulk, and that is going to go to the donations, because I am trying to figure out, as more of, I guess, we're all three of us entrepreneurs, but my brain is always working more from a business perspective. And I'm very good at seeing the big picture of things. I'm very bad at the day to day, which is why Karen handles all of that. She is the CFO. I would be a horrible CFO, but I'm very good at the big picture and long-term game plans and seeing things that way. So we are marking those things up so that we can give value to people. Like Karen said, I don't ever want anybody to think that we're doing this just to make money or we're grifters. So I feel a lot more comfortable offering somebody a product at a competitive, reasonable price, if not a little bit less than what they could get somewhere else, in exchange then for money, and use that more as fundraising. So another thing I want to cover is we are not making money on shipping costs. I can assure you, I'm trying to figure out how to make sure our shipping costs are covered, that you, the customer, are not paying an arm and a leg, but that we aren't losing money on the shipping. And that's been a little bit of a challenge for me because I had no idea what it was going to cost to ship stuff. So if you see our shipping costs changing or being adjusted at all, it's just me trying to figure it out. Today, I just found a shipment of 3 things. We only lost 42 cents on this one today, Karen.
I'll take that. That's not bad. But here's the thing, you guys, the biggest thing is one of the reasons that we are having to do signage and bumper stickers. We've told you guys that Comcast refuses to air any of our stuff. We have people that are willing to donate billboards, and the billboard companies won't put on our stuff. So really, it's going to have to be word of mouth and local that we're going to have to get the word out, because people need to understand there's so many people that don't know our movement exists and don't know that there are people that are trying to find the truth. And I'll tell you guys, we'll talk about this a little bit on Frank's speech tomorrow, but you guys, the hate mail that we've been getting, people are angry at us for actually trying to find the truth. And I don't understand that. If you want the truth, I don't care what side you're on, and you think that your side won, it shouldn't matter if we want an audit. And that's where I guess the rumor has started that we're GOP funded, and we are not, because funny enough, most of the people in the establishment in the GOP hate us.
Yeah. I'm like,
they don't like us.
No, we are very much disliked, and rightfully so. We've called them out and given them a hard time on numerous occasions. In part, I'll speak for myself because I'm a rookie, and I'm just that type of person that is very outspoken and says the first thing that comes to their mind. And the other part is we were emotional and very passionate about this and just didn't think sometimes when I wrote things or said things. But I feel like I'm getting a little better in that area and maybe a little more polished and
we just tell facts now. The facts that we have, we really just, whatever we have that are facts. And if they don't like the facts, well, sorry.
Yeah.
Not really sorry, but sorry for you.
Doing your job. A lot of them want to say they did everything they could. You certified a fraudulent election. How can you say that you did everything? Forget all the other stuff, the Delco video. How can you say you did everything you could when it is clear you certified an election that best case scenario, you can say Pennsylvania 2020 election is like figuring that out is unscrambling an egg. It's not possible because the anomalies are triple the margin of victory. So even if you want to be neutral or you say you're a Biden fan or a supporter, we don't know who legitimately, this is best case, we don't know who legitimately won Pennsylvania because the illegal votes far outnumber the margin of victory. So worst case, we have a wash and we need to redo it because it is inaccurate and there is no way of knowing without decertifying and essentially having a whole new election, or what Mike Lindell's complaint to the Supreme Court is attempting to do is to get the swing states to decertify for that reason, not because they're trying to disenfranchise voters, but because the anomalies far outweigh the margin of victory. Therefore, it's inconclusive who the winner is. And the Constitution has provisions for that. There's an amendment in the Constitution that says when neither party gets to 270 electoral college votes, then the Congress are the ones that are to decide the election. And each state gets one vote. I believe it's the House. It goes to the House. Every state gets one vote. And that's the constitutional directional remedy, I guess, if there is one, for the uncharted territory that we're in. So, you're kidding. I did not find out who put the sign up in Cranberry. I love it. Although I was out today and didn't notice if it was still there. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but I got so excited when I saw that sign. It's like, yes, it's not just us. There's other people trying to put this stuff out there. Thank you, Jesus. So the cat agrees.
Sorry.
Somebody had asked about fixing it. How do we fix it? The fix is at the local level. The fix is us rolling up our sleeves, not being afraid to go to work, and getting involved locally, whether it's your Republican committee or becoming a poll watcher, a poll worker on election day. We have got to have eyes everywhere. That's where the fix is. Unfortunately, nobody is coming to save us, in my opinion. There's not going to be this knight in shining armor moment of everything is just magically fixed. We got our republic back and awesome, we're done. It's going to take a lot of work and a lot of effort. And some of us are going to have to just suck up things that we never thought we'd have to do, had no interest in doing, and realize we got to do it because we got to save our country. So that is how we fix it. I don't know if 2020 is going to be decertified or they're going to do the legal constitutional remedy. I would like to think it's a possibility, and I'm thankful for people like Mike Lindell who are pushing for that and fighting for that. But as far as I know, unless something new has developed, Karen, you tell me, Mike Lindell's complaint is not even officially filed yet with the Supreme Court because he doesn't have any attorney generals that have signed on the complaint so that it can be filed.
That is my understanding too.
Is that your understanding too? And I'm going to be honest, that was really disappointing because I was under the impression, and maybe they did have this going at the time, but I was under the impression they had attorney generals and secretary of states who were willing to sign on, had already agreed to sign on, and it was a done deal. It was just a matter of paperwork that we were going to see happen this week. Come to find out that isn't the case. Now, did people give their verbal agreement and then back out? Good possibility. We've had that happen on the ground. We've had counties say that, yes, we'll move forward with you. We'll work with you. We would be happy to. And then eventually, there's radio silence or they change their mind. So that's a good possibility. I'm not saying that they're being intentionally misleading, but obviously this week didn't go as we thought it could have, the way that Lindell and crew were planning it. But hopefully, like I said, just things changed and we are in a very rapidly changing situation, and there is still a chance that somebody could sign on the lawsuit. I thought it was very well written, very well put together. It's factual. It is the truth that all of the swing states should never have certified. It is uncertain. In some cases, maybe you could say that Trump did definitely win because he was up prior to, Georgia, especially a small margin of victory. Arizona, really small margin of victory. Arizona with Fox News calling it as early as they did. That was just bizarre because Trump was still leading when Fox News called it for Arizona. There's just so much. It's insane to go. Don't want to rehash that and go down that road again. But sorry if that's not an answer you like, but that's the way I see it. The fix is at the local level, and it's going to take some time. And yeah, I thought he had a ton of AGs too. So I don't know. We're still going to keep trekking. Dr. Frank was in Butler, PA, doing I don't know, call it a seminar, just an event for us about a month ago. And he was talking to some people about the Lindell's court case before the Supreme Court at Thanksgiving. And I distinctly remember looking at Dr. Frank and saying, yeah, but we have to work like that's not happening because we can't keep waiting on the next thing and the next thing. And he agreed completely. I can't remember how he says it, but he says something and then says it's only Tuesday, meaning you have the rest of the week. We can't, if you're still waiting for the silver bullet, the knight in white shining armor to come save us, this is going to be it. You're making a huge mistake. You are the plan. We are the plan. We are the trump card. We have to get involved and fix it ourselves. We say that all the time, but I feel like that's just never going to change. Do you agree with that, Karen?
Yeah. I think it's funny because, we've had our own smear pieces and they always, want to compare us to that QAnon thing. And it's funny, it's like, okay, if somebody were going to come save us, that would have happened already. And believe me, I'm probably one of the most people who wish it were true. I would love for, a white knight to come in and people to come save us. But I mean, it's 11 months now and we're as close down to the drain pipe as possible. And so it really is, I feel like Tony's right. I mean, it's really going to be up to us to get up and say enough. And we're going to do this. And that's where it starts. You got to get involved. And I mean, how many times we tell you guys, we are not planning on running for office. And I'll tell you, if I have to, I will begrudgingly do it because we can't just say somebody else is going to do it anymore. Look at where that's led us. I mean, we all said, oh, somebody else is going to run for office, so I don't need to do it. And guys, like, we're losing our country. Enough is enough. We don't have time to wait for somebody else to do it. It's time to step up.
Yeah. The only two other things that I wanted to make sure we talked about is Thanksgiving. If you don't know the real history of Thanksgiving, a lot of the narrative that's going around in our society today and our culture is that America is evil. We stole this land from Native Americans. And even my daughter, who is homeschooled and prior to her homeschooling was in a private Christian school. Oh my gosh, somebody just donated to us.
Thank you.
Can I show that here?
Aw.
Thank you.
Oh we cannot do what we do without you.
Incredibly humbling. Thank you, White Widow, whoever that is. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That will not go to waste. I promise you that. Come on, Tony, don't do this. My train of thought goes, woo!
We did not see the land stolen from Native Americans.
That's it. Stole it from Native Americans. And my daughter, I do let her watch YouTube sometimes, although today we're cutting that off for another period of time till we get some other things rolling around here. She said that Thanksgiving was a celebration. We were celebrating because we slaughtered the Native Americans. And it was like, yay, we won the war. And I went, what? Where did you hear that? She goes, YouTube. Oh, dear God. Okay. We're not going to watch YouTube. And that's not the truth. That doesn't mean there wasn't bloodshed, by the way. That doesn't mean there wasn't conflict. And then Americans were perfect cherubs of, Jesus loving perfection, and they never did anything wrong. That's not it at all. However, if you go back in history and you look at the original writings from the people, the colonists, some of the first people that settled here, Christopher Columbus being one of them. Can't remember the first name, but another guy, last name Cortez. I was just watching something on the History Channel and reading, doing some follow-up reading and digging on this the other day. A lot of those Native American Indian tribes were very violent. They did not practice Christianity, and the religion that they practiced had to do with cannibalism and just a lot of very violent things, satanic rituals and all kind of stuff, sacrificing people to the sun gods. And they didn't believe in Christianity. And a lot of their religion led them to the path of doing very violent things. And when some of the colonists from England first came here and saw that, they thought, holy cow, we have to spread the gospel. They were coming to bring the good news, to preach the word of God, and to get people to understand that we have a savior and this stuff isn't right. And that's one of the reasons why they tried to settle the land and colonize North America, what we know as the United States, was to share the good news of the gospel so that people would stop the satanic rituals. Obviously not in every case, but that was a big piece of it. And that's getting lost in our culture today. And that's just something that I learned over the last couple of weeks, homeschooling my kids and other things that I've researched and looked into. So know that Thanksgiving was actually a celebration of peace that was found between Indian tribes. And I'm not going to say the name of it. I'm sure I'll butcher it. But American Indians and American colonists who had made peace together, and there was all kind of famine and starvation. They had tried a bunch of different things when they first settled over here to make food and be able to survive. And a lot of people starved when they tried. The Pilgrims even tried like a socialistic type society where everybody grew crops on their own land. They allowed them to have it. They harvested those crops. They brought it to a storehouse where everybody came and you took your portion. Whatever your family was allotted, that's what you took. And within a very short period of time, they were all starving to death because human nature is selfish and lazy, and people started faking sickness so they didn't have to work, but they were still taking their share. And this is just something called the 80-20 rule that Karen and I have learned in business over the course of time together, is that 80% of the people do 20% of the work and 20% of the people do 80% of the work. It's just kind of a rule of averages, life, whatever you want to call it. I read it in a John Maxwell book ages ago, the 80-20 rule. A lot of people in sales or any type of business atmosphere or environment know that. Well, they saw that early on. 20% of the people were doing most of the work, and essentially then people started starving because the 20% couldn't keep up to feed the 80%. Mm-hmm. And so what's different about free enterprise and what the American capitalistic economic system is, it's an equal playing field for everybody. It's not a caste system that you're born into saying you're going to do this or you're going to do that, or you're only allotted socialism. Everybody gets an equal share. It sounds fantastic, but because of the sin nature of man, it's unrealistic and it never works. So what they changed was in those early days, this is before the Declaration of Independence and before the Revolutionary War, is that they let the American colonists own property, free enterprise, do what they wanted, buy and sell as they pleased freely without regulating anything. And within 2 years, they went from starving to death to having more than enough, in abundance. They were having to export then corn specifically. Within 2 years, they were having to export stuff because they had an overabundance. And it was the discovery of hark. Look what freedom does. You allow people to the level opportunity, a level playing field, and look what ended up happening out of that. So Thanksgiving, my family and I celebrated that once upon a time there was peace made between the Native Americans and the American colonists, and they broke bread together, and a lot of them actually ended up accepting Christ and coming to God and stopping the mess of the other religions that were doing really bad things, and ended up following God's word, the Bible, that a lot of us that are Christians know, and obviously did some good things out of it. So that's what Thanksgiving is. At least when I celebrate Thanksgiving, that's what I'm celebrating. That was a lot.
Yeah, well, it's funny because one of the things, one of the guys that I follow and I've talked to quite a few times, we were discussing the White House schedule. And it's interesting if you looked at past presidents and what they did on Thanksgiving, and then there was on the current administration schedule, it was some private place for Friendsgiving. They wouldn't even put Thanksgiving on there. And I feel like that's just the cancel culture that we've seen in America in general, and the more division that it's causing. And the problem is that some people are attaching themselves to that. And if I feel like just as a nation, if we do not learn how to work together and unify, that gives other nations outside of the US more chance to infiltrate, more chance to attack. And a lot of people don't see that. It's a scary time right now. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we need to focus on is what we're really celebrating, what things are really about, actually try to unify. And I know, one of the things that it seems taboo now to talk about, people don't want to talk about finances, they don't want to talk about God, and they don't want to talk about politics. And in my opinion, those are the three most important things that you need to be not only teaching your kids, but talking about with your friends and family. And unfortunately, people get so attached to social issues, it becomes this knockout, drag out fight. And Tony and I have always talked about this, even Jamie, the three of us may not agree on everything. We've talked about this before. We don't even agree on who we're supporting for governor. However, we do agree on Jake Corman is not getting in the governor's office, that's for sure. But second of all, it's okay to not always agree on everything. But when it comes to the important stuff, you push that aside and get your stuff done.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do as a country.
Let's talk about that too, the governor race. Audit the Vote PA. This is what we agree on. All three of us agree on. The name of the game is do not let Jake Corman get the GOP nomination and then keep Josh Shapiro out of the governor's seat. Everybody can agree on that. The three of us agree on that. And as Audit the Vote PA, that's our main mission, is we cannot let Senator Corman, who has a track record of bad votes, a career politician, very arrogant according to his own constituents, doesn't return phone calls, emails, won't have in-person meetings with anybody, crazy dark money ties. We cannot let that guy get the GOP nomination. And this is what I want to warn everybody of. I myself think there's no way. The guy is not liked at all. Look at all the comments on his social media. Nobody likes the man. But here's the problem. He has a lot of money and a lot of connections. And so we can't underestimate what that could do for him with the people in Pennsylvania who aren't paying as close of attention as we and you guys are, that when that money starts flashing with billboards and ads and all the stuff that money is able to do, let's not underestimate that. And let's make sure that we, Steve Bannon says, put your shoulder to the wheel. I always wonder what the heck is that, but I kind of like that now. Put your shoulder to the wheel. Don't underestimate just because he's unpopular in our circle. And we've been talking about it for months, that his deep pockets and his broad connections couldn't change that. So.
And guys, please do your research. Seriously, really do your research. I know there are a lot of people, I think now there's 13 to 15 people that are now in the race for just the GOP side. Please do your research on these people. Don't just listen to the three of us. I mean, we can give you our opinions all day long, and we're happy to do that if you guys ask. But I really want you guys to start doing your own research. Look at where they're getting their money from. Look at the way, if they are already in politics, they're voting on certain bills. Look at the stuff that's important to you, and look at the way that they're voting, what bills that they've introduced towards that, what bills that they didn't vote on. It's so, so important for everybody to do their due diligence, because this isn't about Tony, me, or Jamie and what's important to us for who we want for governor. This is about each and every person deciding who you think is going to be best for you and your family, not for us.
Yep. So there is that. The last thing I will talk about is a movie I watched yesterday. I promoted on my page a couple of times. It is called Capital Punishment, directed and produced by Nick Searcy. He was in Hollywood, has done several movies. I couldn't remember where I saw the guy before. I used to be pre-COVID. Let me back up. Pre-COVID, I loved watching movies. My favorite thing to do when I got my kids in bed was to put a movie in late night. I'm also a night person, not a morning person. Loved watching movies like midnight, throw a movie in, 2:00 in the morning, it's over. That's when I'd go to bed. Then COVID hit and I went down all the rabbit holes and found out Hollywood's kind of, for the most part, a little disgusting. Just all kind of, so I had a hard time really watching movies. I don't want to watch. I have no desire whatsoever. I was a romantic comedy junkie. I've seen every romantic comedy I think ever made, from the 80s all the way up until 2020. One of my favorites was The Ugly Truth with Katherine Heigl, and Nick Searcy is in that. I finally remembered that's where I knew his face from, is he's, I think, her producer in that movie. Anyway, turns out he's a conservative Christian, and he went to DC on January 6th and witnessed the complete opposite of what the mainstream media wants us to think, and the dirty politicians that want to call it an insurrection, was more what I had witnessed because I was there as well. Didn't go anywhere near the Capitol. Praise God. I guess that's a good thing. I was far enough away, though, that I could observe that it was nowhere near the story that the mainstream is painting the picture of. And Nick Searcy put a movie together and interviewed people. He talks about Ashley Babbitt. It's a pretty cool tribute to Ashley Babbitt, but he talks to real people and how they've been treated by our government. And it is a really good wake-up call that we've got to do something now, because our government's been weaponized against us, and we need enough people awake that are willing to fight it. So I wanted to share my screen just to show you the website. But ooh, the ginger ale's getting me a little bit. Share screen. Let's see if I can actually do this. I have my Constitution Alive stuff up still from the other night. Yep, if you haven't taken our Constitution class, Karen, can you see my...
Yep.
Okay.
That's our Constitution stuff.
Now I just switched to a website. Can you see it?
Yep, you're good.
All right. Yay, it's working. So that is, where's my StreamYard? There we are. Oh, I can see it. Capital punishment. Everything they told you is a lie. That is true. It is $10, and it was worth every penny of that. I thought this was really cool. If you haven't seen the trailer, in fact, maybe we'll play the trailer. Yes, let's play the trailer. And then, unless Karen has anything to add, we'll go from there. Can you hear it?
This is treason.
Where's Officer, I can't breathe. I can't hear you.
Can you hear it, Karen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And hey, man.
I'm Nick Searcy. On January 6, 2021, I went to Washington, D.C., along with multitudes of other Americans, because we believed that the election was stolen. I saw with my own eyes what happened that day. And what they show you on the media doesn't tell half the story.
Here's the Capitol, and here's people going in there. They didn't show all of this out here.
Did I tell you I have claustrophobia?
I saw people of all colors, races, creeds,
Asian Americans for Trump, blacks for Trump. I even saw a guy wearing a shirt that said "Fags for Trump." And since I'm from California, I knew that guy.
We're from Iowa.
Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm here standing with my fellow patriots. We all standing for America.
Despite what the media tells you, boots on ground definitely say something different. There is a sea of nothing but red, white, and blue patriots.
These are damn working people. They want their country back.
We're marching for the Constitution. We're not. It ain't really about Trump. It's about us now. They're attacking us, and we're tired of it.
We had a foreign attack, and they had domestic support. This is about individual liberty. We don't believe the media. We don't believe you. We have no faith in our institutions.
The FBI is now being sent out by Joe Biden to punish people.
We're at war. They're hunting down Trump supporters like dogs.
You say that again. We're at war.
147 days since my wife was murdered, executed.
The FBI, you have a federal search warrant for the property. Come out with your
I step out, I have red dots all over my chest.
They broke the door down. Hands up, put your hands on the wall, hands up.
I was in jail for 4 straight days. I kept banging on the door saying, I have never had a phone call.
The 6th was all deception.
The level of sophistication and tactic is immense.
Oh, I recognize you from Portland. I'm seeing people from Portland here. Antifa.
I was paid to pretend to protest.
We need to come together as Americans again and remember why we started this country.
An insurrection without arms? What are they talking about? And why are they lying?
You're muted.
I told you, rookie. I'll be using that for ages. Capital Punishment. I'm going to put a link in the chat. It's called Capital Punishment, the movie.com is a website where you can watch it. Yeah, so worth it. Look at all those people. How about all those people? Oh my gosh. Did they not realize, people are so stupid. The real if it was an insurrection, if people really went there to interfere with the legal proceeding of Congress certifying the election, they wouldn't have been able to stop it because there were millions of people. And yet they're still running with this narrative. The movie just shows you it was without a doubt a very well orchestrated and coordinated attack that led to what they're now trying to paint this picture of. And it's just communism. It's the first thing that they do is they silence the opposition. They want to run with their narrative and they silence any voices of dissent. And that's essentially what they're trying to do. But we got to fight back and keep going. So I highly recommend it. So good. Definitely, at least your family and friends, that are maybe on the fence, not as engaged as you are, but maybe they're not crazy lunatic lefties. If you can get them to watch that, it is quite eye-opening. Want to address the question above about Michael Flynn. I am on Telegram. I do follow Linwood and Michael Flynn and Sidney Powell and Patrick Byrne and all those guys that what the heck is going on? I have no idea. I'm watching it just like the rest of you. I don't have any inside info. I could give you my opinion, but I think I'll hold that back for now as well because it's really early. And I'm just following along with all of it to see what happens because it's crazy. Who needs TV when we have Telegram stuff like that to follow all day? That's our entertainment. Yeah.
I did want to say happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah starts on Sunday night. So for any of you guys who do follow us who celebrate that, happy Hanukkah to you guys.
Okay. So we kept it short and sweet. And this is it. So we will be, I'm trying to think when we'll be back. Tomorrow. We'll be on Frank's Speech tomorrow at 5:00.
Yes. Yeah.
And we are still working on a venue for our Monday meeting, our monthly meetings that we're going to start having. December 6th is our tentative date, but we still don't have a venue yet. So we have to get that nailed down before we can officially put it out. And worst case, we'll just keep doing the YouTube videos, and we may have to end up pushing it to January to start officially, but hopefully not. Hopefully we can get a meeting together in December. When is our next session? Black Dragon asked. Are you talking about session on YouTube? We don't have anything necessarily planned, although I've been toying in my brain about doing something weekly, maybe on Friday nights, maybe on Saturday nights. We probably should do something on a regular basis, just to, people ask us questions all the time, and it's hard even for the three of us, me, Karen, and Jamie, just to catch up. We go a few days without talking to each other, like on the phone. We're always like communicating through Telegram and stuff, but we go a few days without talking to each other on the phone, and so much happens. It's like we have to get caught up. We're hours the next time, like getting each other caught up on everything. Capital. Yes.
Yeah. So
our
our Constitution class, for those of you who are wondering, we're in the middle of one now, but we'll start our next session if anybody's interested. Probably the end of January, Tony?
Middle to end of January.
Yeah.
Will be our next Constitution class. And all of this is on the auditthevotepa.com website. I still don't have yard signs up, but they're going up again. It's this whole shipping thing. I was just in Walmart tonight trying to figure out its packaging and shipping. I do have someone on our Telegram channel who's going to try to get me a cheaper price. Somehow she has access to that. So I'll be talking to her and see what we can figure out for the yard signs. But that's why we're a little delayed. Also on there, if you liked our Constitution class and want a friend to take it and want to kind of give them a nudge, we have put on there a gift certificate you can buy, $10. We'll get you a gift certificate that you can either use for yourself or give it to somebody for Christmas to get access to our 6-week crash course on the Constitution. It's amazing. It kicked off our entire journey. So anything else? My kids are downstairs watching The Grinch, and I'm going to go join them. My youngest one, I know, Facebook jail. My youngest one, I was just telling Karen backstage, I'll share with all of my friends on here, is she's 4. And she somehow got my razor blades in the bathtub. And I just use your imagination. My husband came yelling over the railing and said, "Babe, I need your help. Go look at your daughter and then help me figure out what we're going to do." She's fine. It was just her hands more than anything, but she's all band-aided up down there now watching The Grinch. That's how we calmed everybody down. Oh, life is so crazy. Crazy, crazy. How's your fun been going with the kiddos down there? Good?
Good. Yeah. We've had a blast and ready to get home. And
no crazy stories?
No, not really. Not really. Things have been pretty good. Thankfully, I have a 4 and a 2-year-old, so I really can't. This week's been good. Yeah.
Good. All right, everybody. You guys have an awesome rest of your weekend, kickoff of the holiday season, and we'll be in touch about when we're going to do this again.
Yeah, absolutely. Bye.
All right. Bye. Like we're trying to end it. Are people still watching?
It's just not doing it.
It doesn't want to end. That's not good. Everybody's still staring at us. The link to what in the description? What link do you think she's asking for?
Probably the capital punishment link.
Okay.
Either that or the Constitution class link. So funny, it won't end the live video.
Yep.
Oh goodness.
If it puts a thing in the live stream, it won't even stick that in there. Well then, if I just X out the browser, does that, it did, nope, it's still going time-wise. All right. Hey guys. Having trouble connecting. Please check your internet connection. My internet connection looks just fine.
Let me see if it's still streaming.
Are you able to end it, or do I have to end it?
No, you have to end it.
I thought so.
You have to end it.
I'm just wondering if they can still see us.
I don't know.
It won't let me end the broadcast.
Let me go. Let me go on to to your Facebook and see if we're still.
Yeah, see if we're still.
That's good stuff.
Everyone's saying, "Yep," they're laughing. Yes, they can still see it. It won't end. But that's okay. It must be working again.
Oh
Hold on.
my goodness, this is great.
Capital Punishment, the movie.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Hey, it's back. I must have had a slight internet issue. Okay. Are you ready? We're gonna try it again.
Try it again.